Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Read Aloud with Miss Cope. Today is Friday. I know it's your favorite day of the week. It's Friday and it's June 5th. Next week is our last week of school. You all have been trucking through it, doing a really nice job. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday to give Read Aloud. I was busy packing up my classroom in the morning, and I got a lot of help from a friend who I really, truly appreciate. So thank you if you're watching. All right, we are reading It Ain't So Awful Falafel by Firoozeh Dumas. We left off on, let me peek. Here we go. A real drip. Saturday morning, my mom wakes me up in a panic. Zomorod, help, come! I run downstairs. There's a small pond in our kitchen. Your dad is out putting air in his tires. Call the plumber. Since I'm the only person in my house who knows how to use the yellow pages, it's always my job to look up phone numbers. I find the plumber who advertises for emergency repairs on weekends and call him. He says he can come right away. I help my mom put towels on the kitchen floor, then get dressed. So Yellow Pages was a big book before we could just Google a number on your smartphone. A big old book with Yellow Pages with everybody's phone number. 20 minutes later, someone rings the bell. I open the door. It's the plumber. He's wearing a t-shirt that says, "Wanted, Iranians for target practice." I freeze. I don't know what to do. Is he going to hurt us? Should I call the police? Why is my dad inflating the tires today? Are y'all gonna let me in, he asks. Yes, I say automatically. I show him to the kitchen. My mom has gotten off the couch and is following us. I need to warn her not to talk. I know she can't read the t-shirt. The plumber pushes the fridge away from the wall, looking for the source of the leak. Mama, Gush Khan, I whisper. Mom, listen. Why are you talking so softly? She asks loudly. The repairman pokes his head out from behind the fridge. Hey, where are you folks from? My mom and I say something from what seems like an entire minute. Then my mother breaks the silence. Torquay. The repairman goes back to his work. I breathe again. I can't believe what just happened. My mother, who's never learned English, said the right thing. I'm pretty sure she saved us. I keep quiet because the man is still in our house and he's way bigger than we are and he's wearing a tool belt. He replaces the leaky pipe and my mother pays him. He leaves. I've never been so relieved in my life. I don't ask my mom why she lied and said we were from Turkey. I'm just glad she did. None of this would be mentioned to my father. He doesn't need to know. Wow, that is kind of scary, having someone come in wearing a shirt that clearly disapproves of who you are. Next chapter, the plan. Neither Carolyn nor I have said anything to anyone about Mrs. Linden. For once, Carolyn's not sure what to do either. She has not been her usual self lately. At lunch, she usually laughs and jokes, but now, if we're with Rachel and Howie, Carolyn barely asks anything. If we're alone, she talks nonstop about prejudice in America. I assume Mrs. Linden is one of those people who can't find Iran on a map and who thinks we live in tents with no running water and like to take hostages as a hobby. My dad says that people like that are not truly horrible. They just need a geography class, a passport, and a few foreign friends. They're just ignorant to it. They don't know, maybe. Carolyn keeps talking about a program she saw on public television about Irish immigrants in the 1920s. She tells me that some American businesses put up signs in stores saying Nina, which means no Irish need apply. N-I-N-A. Your dad not being able to find a job plus Mrs. Linden's actions makes me think that there's something bigger going on here. We need to do something about it. It's like those horrible signs are being recycled 60 years later, but now it's no Iranians need apply. So I guess people from countries starting with I shouldn't come here, I joke, trying to distract her from her mission. That's not something to joke about, she says. We must do something. All of a sudden, I remember that Carolyn had I remember that Carolyn had, for her first Halloween costume in elementary school, dressed up as Eleanor Roosevelt. I hadn't thought about it much when she told me, but now it's perfect sense. Even as a little kid, she wanted to change the world for the better. Look, Carolyn, Darlene Linden is on the board of our condo association, and she's our next door neighbor. She might get my father kicked out. My dad's already without a job. Please, please, don't say anything, I beg. She can't get your family kicked out, and we need to report her, Carolyn insists. If she does one more thing, we'll report her, okay? You're not reacting like an American, she says. Maybe it's because I'm not American. I remind her I grew up in a country with a secret police and a monarchy. Fine, Carolyn says with a sigh, but you are making a big mistake. So obviously what Mrs. Linden did was horrible. Zomorod feels like she can't speak up in fear that she would lose her home. It doesn't seem right. Next chapter. A ham for a turkey. Hanson's Supermarket is where all the rich and beautiful people buy their groceries in Newport Beach. The store and parking lot are decorated with huge planters that regularly change before a single flower wilts. The people who shop there make an equal effort to stay forever young. Before every holiday, Hanson's has drawings for free gifts. A heart-shaped box of chocolates for Valentine's Day, a turkey for Thanksgiving, and the famous Hanson's honey and nutmeg ham for Christmas. You don't have to buy anything to enter the drawing, and everyone I know signs up for every contest. It was a shock to realize that even people who can afford to valet park their cars at supermarkets signs up for a chance to win a free turkey. That weekend, lying on the floor in my room, I start thinking about Cindy's mom and how horrible she has been to us. I try to imagine what it might feel like to be her, to be someone who lives in fear of anyone who doesn't look like her, or dress like her, or eat the same foods. Then, as I'm thinking about food, I get an idea, but not just an idea, like the Grinch's. It's a wonderful, awful idea. Ooh, what does Zomorod have up her sleeve? I find the rules for condominium living binder and take the phone from the hallway in my bedroom. I shut the door and dial the Linden's number. I figure Cindy is at the stables, so chances are her mom will answer. She picks up. I take a deep breath and say, in my most enthusiastic game show host voice, "May I please speak to Darlene Linden?" This is she. "Congratulations, Darlene. You are the lucky winner of this year's Hanson's Honey and Nutmeg Ham, featuring our secret recipe that's been in the Hanson's family for 3 generations. I had read that on their advertising flyers. "But I didn't enter this year," she says. "Well, Mrs. Linden," I continue, trying to think quickly, "we keep all the names and numbers from previous years, so I assume you entered for something at some point." "Well, come to think of it, yes, I have." She sounds quite excited. "This year alone, I entered giveaway for 4th of July stick-it-to-me rib basket. The fall, I have another butter cookie extravaganza, the Halloween death by chocolate candy coffin, and of course the Thanksgiving turkey with all the trimmings. I meant to enter for the honey and nutmeg ham as well, but I forgot. I thought I would win. I guess good things do happen to good people. I can't believe she's falling for this. Please come by tomorrow before 3 and 4 and ask for the manager," I say quickly before I lose my nerve. "And thank you for shopping at Hanson's." "Thank you," she says. "I can't wait." Uh-oh. Next chapter. Not without my ham. The next day, I'm at Hanson's Market at 2:45, pretending to be looking at magazines in the front of the store. I didn't tell Carolyn about this. I know what she would say. "This is a terrible idea and you shouldn't do it." And she's right. I'm nauseated and sweaty. Mrs. Linden and I have never met, but what if she recognizes me somehow? This is the absolute worst thing I have ever done in my entire life. Right when I start thinking about how awful it would be if I get caught, she walks into the store, her hair in a towering bouffant. I recognize her instantly from the photos in original Sydney's living room. She click-clacks in her high heels to the customer service station and asks for the manager. While she's waiting, she tucks in a few strands of hair that somehow escaped her unmoving helmet of a coif. "May I help you?" asks the manager. "Well, yes, I'm Darlene Linden, and I'm here to pick up a ham," she says, flashing a big smile. "If you ordered a ham, you pick it up at the deli counter," the manager informs her. "No, I'm the winner of the Christmas ham drawings," Mrs. Linden says, still smiling. The manager looks confused. But ma'am, that's not until next week. Mrs. Linden shifts her weight from one high heel shoe to another. Well, I received a phone call from the store yesterday saying that I had won a ham and that I should pick it up today. Mrs. Linden, the manager's brows furrow. Well, let me see what I can do. Can you please wait a moment? She asks and disappears into the back. While she's waiting, Darlene glances around the store and if looking to see if anyone she knows is watching. The manager comes back with an older man who looks flustered. Mrs. Linden's face fades. He says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry about this, but there must have been some kind of mistake. I assure you, as general manager of Hanson, that no one called you from the store yesterday. Our drawing is not until next week." "This is unacceptable," Mrs. Linden shouts, definitely no longer smiling. "One of your employees called me yesterday and told me to come today between 3 and 4 to pick up my ham. I will not leave without my ham." The managers look at each other. "Please allow us to offer you a free cake for our bakery," the manager says, pointing to the display case in the back of the store. "I don't want a cake," she says, raising her voice even more. "Any half-brained dimwit knows how to bake a cake. I want my ham." A small crowd starts to gather around her, drawn by all the yelling. I put down the magazine I had been pretending to read and joined the onlookers. "Ma'am, we're so sorry, but we cannot give a ham to anyone who claims to have received a phone call from us," the general manager says. "Would you like me to walk you to our bakery where you can select any one of our—" "Are you calling me a liar?" "No, ma'am. We are merely trying to—" Mrs. Linden takes one step closer to him, waving her long, manicured finger in his face. She says, "Listen to me and listen good." But before she can finish, the security guard grabs her arm. "This way, please," the guard says. Judging by the look of excitement on his face, it is fair to assume that this is the most action the Hanson security team, which consists of one elderly gentleman, has ever seen. "Let me go," screams Mrs. Linden at the top of her voice. By then, the entire store is watching. The drama unfolds. "Not without my ham," she squeaks as she is led out of the store. The crowd stays by the door for a while. Everyone's talking about the crazy lady demanding a ham. I go to the deli section and buy a turkey sandwich with cheddar cheese, lettuce, and tomato, along with a bag of barbecue potato chips. I owe it to Hanson's. I feel bad that the manager had to go through that, and I actually feel bad for Darlene Linden, too. She seems like such a sad person. Next chapter. I'm walking to school thinking about my upcoming math test when I hear someone calling my name. I turn around and see Brock waving to me from his bike. I wave back, and as soon as he catches up, he gets off his bike and walks next to me. "Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I got an A on my English paper," he says. "That's great." I'm not surprised. "Yeah, so thanks a lot for your help," Brock adds. "I didn't do anything." "Yeah, but you said something to me, not acting as smart as I am, and I don't know. My dad always says that too." "Your dad's right," I say. "You understood that book better than I did. Do you like to read?" "Sometimes. I can recommend some books to you if you want." Brock says nothing. Why did I say that? I'm such a Dorcas Maximus. "Maybe," he finally answers. "You don't have to," I add. "Well, I gotta go." He climbs back on his bike and starts pedaling quickly. "Okay, bye, y'all." Brock rides without his hands on the handlebars. I never learned how to do that. All right, we're going to end the read aloud for today. So it seems like Zomorod got back on with Darlene Linden, got back at her secretly and quietly. But I guess Zomorod didn't feel as good as she probably thought she would after the whole debacle at the grocery store. You know what I learned? I've learned that two wrongs never really make a right, but I do also know that justice should be served. Yeah, so let's see how the rest of it unfolds. I will see you next week. Since I missed yesterday, I might do a read aloud tomorrow for Saturday. We'll see how I'm feeling. So maybe see you tomorrow or next week for our last week of school. Hopefully we can get through the end of this book by next week. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and a great weekend. Toodles.